The brand new Naboo raid is here, and I thought we might as well go ahead and break it. So we decided to find ourselves a 3-man team that can complete the Relic 9 tier for maximum points, and it's not the Gungans. No Ommies included in this particular team. I do have all the Gungan teams figured out. I will have a video pushed out for you guys very shortly on that, but today we are talking about the max score underman team of Queen Amidala. Let's do this. So there is a lot that we have to discuss about this particular team. A couple of things that I will say first and foremost. I don't feel it works particularly well at the Relic 8 tier, although at the Relic 8 tier you will be able to just go ahead and take in the likes of, R2-D2 and maybe a +1, someone like Shakti or someone like Eth Koth or whoever you are actually running. At the level 9 tier, it certainly can be done, but it requires remodding. You cannot go on full auto, and it does require a bit of RNG, and by a bit, I mean a lot, okay? So we need to understand the mechanics, we need to understand the modding, and we need to understand that this is not exactly a guarantee. Now, you can go in full auto at the Relic 9 tier. If you're willing to sacrifice a bit, you can far easier get sort of a 3.1 mil, 3.2 mil, if not easily beat 2.7. But if you're doing that, you might as well be in the tier below and all that yada yada yada. Just some disclaimers before we start. First and foremost, I want to be talking about modding, so let's take a look at Queen Amidala. Queen Amidala, I've gone for speed and potency with a smattering of survivability. Why speed? Why potency? She needs to take a lot of turns. We need her to take a lot of turns, resummoning that Handmaiden's Decoy, using her basic a lot to pass a lot of heal over times is so imperative towards getting Padawan Obi-Wan to deal lots of damage. On her basic as well, she is actually able to apply Expose, and Expose really helps because these enemies have got a lot of health, so the more potency that we have, the higher the chance of landing that Expose. She can also increase her own potency through her Loyal Bodyguard unique. Whenever heal over times or protection over times do get dispelled, she's going to be gaining a stack of Queen's Protection. That Queen's Protection is going to turn into max health, max protection, max potency, tenacity, and speed, and that's going to apply to Master Qui-Gon Jinn and Padawan Obi-Wan as well. So, speed set and health set we've got for her. I've got her at 360 speed currently. Note this is not my Queen Amidala, this is a friend's Queen Amidala, and she's rocking just under 80% potency. Now, the health and protection, not particularly high, and honestly, doesn't really matter. 76,000 health and 85,000 protection. We don't need a whole lot of survivability here. I've just gone for potency primary here, a potency set with some protection over here. Honestly, you could probably swap that out for crit damage or offense or anything like that, and it will do absolutely fine. Now, the enemy does have a massive amount of crit avoidance, so the likelihood of you actually landing a crit is quite low. We're going to talk about Master Qui-Gon Jinn then next. What does Master Qui-Gon Jinn want to do? He wants to be fast and have a lot of health. The reason I like him to have health is because with that, I'll take that bet ability. He is going to be doing percentile damage based on his max health to the enemy team. It does pretty good damage. So, overall, what are we looking at here? We are looking at 333 speed and 100,000 health. We do have a crit damage triangle on him just in case, and just under 7k offense. Now, I think that if you can ramp his offense further, it's probably worth testing around. This is by no means an empirical test. We're probably going to fine-tune this team as it comes around, but this is how I've modded him so far. Padawan Obi-Wan, it is all about that damage. It's really tricky to mod this guy correctly. You need to have pretty good mod depth to have this done. We're going with offense and crit chance set. Crit damage on the triangle, of course, and you want to have an offense wherever you can. Not only that, you want to try and pump his crit chance as high as possible whilst keeping his speed fast. So at Relic 9, this guy has got 316 speed, he does have that crit damage triangle, and of course 10k offense. Now I've got 114.6% crit chance here, and believe me when I say, we do not always crit. It sucks, but there we go. As high as you can get this number to really sort of help deal with the RNG of the wave, okay? Now we're going to go through and talk about what are we looking for in each wave, what are we trying to do, how do we understand the mechanics. So let's roll my footage. So the first wave is always the same, ladies and gentlemen. Always the same. Each wave always has the same units, but the one modifier that is different is whatever the modifier is on the commando droid, which is this one in the middle. They can't be killed until all of the enemies on the enemy team have been destroyed first, and they have a random benefit, one of 3 that they can have. One is going to be recovery based with dispels, one's going to be bonus turns whenever you take a turn, that's the worst one in my opinion, and one of them is going to be speed, I believe, something like that. So what we want to do here, based on my modding, the way I set it up, is you actually start out with a basic from Queen Amidala. That's going to pass a bunch of heal over time and protection over times. If you summon the decoy right now, all it will do is get destroyed. So they'll take their turns, yada yada yada, and then we're going to drop into our turns next. Now, I use the second special with Qui-Gon Jinn over here. This second special actually passes an additional 30% offense to your Padawan Obi-Wan. After that, we're trying to kill that first droid unit over there, so we summon the Handmaiden's decoy. She's going to come in and tank for just a little bit, and then when she dies, Padme's going to get a bonus turn. So over here, we're just going to use the first special from Qui-Gon Jinn, and that's hopefully going to dispel. If you've got enough potency, he will actually apply a bunch of explosives as well. You'll see that come into play more often when we've got some more of that Queen's Protection rolling. Now, you only want to use that first special with Queen Amidala when you have the Handmaiden's decoy available. You'll see it passes a bunch of heal over times, it passes stuff like speed up and things like that. Very, very useful. Only use the basic if you don't have the Handmaiden's decoy available. Now what we're trying to do here is we're trying to finish this wave with cooldowns available on Obi-Wan. He needs to have his AoE available, he needs to have heal over time buffs, and you need to have used Qui-Gon Jinn's second special before he uses it. That second special, like I said, passes 30% offense to your team, to Padawan Obi-Wan for 2 turns. You need that additional offense to try and clear out waves coming up. So you see I'm holding on to the AoE here. We're going to use the first special from Qui-Gon Jinn here. That's going to pass us speed up to our Padawan Obi-Wan and ourselves. We're going to leave the I'll take that back. You want to hold that until as close to the next wave as possible. Alright, so over here we can use this first special. It's going to give us all those buffs. Look at those heal over time, speed up, offense up, armor penetration. So here we use that second special. Very imperative. Second special from Master Qui-Gon Jinn. It's going to call the assists and defeat the commando droid, okay? The command battle droid. There's the assist, booyah. So look at all those buffs we've got on Padawan Obi-Wan. So before we start talking about this second wave, let's take a moment, take a step back. What can we see here? We've got 5 B1s, yeah? And we've got the command droid, we've got a droideka. Now the command droid has got the triple chevron ability. This is the ability that lets them interrupt you. They're going to gain a bonus turn every time you take a turn. So there's RNG that's coming into play here. Essentially, if that droideka rolls up into damage immunity, you will have to waste turns trying to kill him. It's not the worst thing in the world at this early stages because there are less units, but this is all about trying to manage how much enrage we've got, which you can see up here in the top right corner, 24% at this point. So what we want to do is we want to hope that we don't get this particular modifier because it's the worst. And we have to hope to clear this wave very, very quickly, okay? So we're trying to get a big AoE off Padawan Obi-Wan. So it's a basic here from Queenie. That's going to call in Master Qui-Gon Jinn. A basic from Qui-Gon Jinn. We killed the droideka, and now we get a turn. Boom! That's what we're looking to do. Nice big hit from Padawan Obi-Wan, killing, what, 5 units in one hit over there, doing 150k. He needs to have all these buffs over here. He's got, well, I mean, it's just lost a couple of them. If we just go back just a second to when he actually takes his turn, it comes up now. So here it is. We can see the buffs he's got. He's got tenacity up, he's got speed up, he's got advantage, he's got offense up, defense penetration up, crit damage up, 6 heal over times, he's got 3 protection over times, he's got protection up, and he's got, is that potency up or accuracy up? I think it is the last one. So all of these buffs are increasing the damage he's going to deal with his AoE, okay? He needs that advantage to guarantee the crit, because like I said, even with a 115% crit chance, it's not a guarantee. And we just want to be able to clear the board. Now, you can also have somebody evade the attack, and that sucks, but there we go. We're going around into the next wave, and this is where we've got our first fleet capability, okay? You can see bottom right, we're able to summon a fleet ability. Now, I typically try to use the second one first. What the second one will do, it will remove the modifier on the commando droid. Typically speaking, you can save that one for when they've got the triple chevrons, the interrupt your turns one, their bonus turn one, because that one is the most frustrating. But have a play around with it, see what works best for you. So over here, all I'm trying to do is trying to build up to that same situation again. When we're going around into the next wave, we want to have Qui-Gon Jinn with his second special used. We want to have Padawan Obi-Wan with his AoE off cooldown, and we want to have a lot of buffs available on the team, okay? So don't forget, Padme's basic and her first special, whilst the Handmaiden's decoy is around, will pass us a bunch of those heal over times, crit chance up, and all that sort of business. So we want to try to hold off so that in the next wave, we've got that AoE available, so we can just go and pop it and destroy everybody here. So we're using the first special here against the droidicas. Look, they've got the bonus turn interrupt again, which is not ideal, but we managed to get a turn with Qui-Gon Jinn, with Padawan Obi-Wan, exposes across the board, big AoE, clean through the wave as quickly as possible. That's 2 waves we've managed to do that in, and that's exactly what you're looking to try and do. You want to build up to that occasion. It is RNG based, guys. I'm not going to pretend like it's not. It takes a lot of luck, it takes the right modding, and it takes playing it correctly, okay? So there we go. We're just trying to clear through these waves as quickly as possible now. It's all about trying to kill them efficiently so that they don't take too many turns and you can actually keep that enrage meter nice and low. Just a basic here because we can't do anything else. Try and target the unit. Interrupt their turns, essentially. Alright, here we go. So again, keep in mind, what do we want to do? We want to save that AoE for the start of the next wave. We want to try and get that second special from Qui-Gon Jinn used right before we use that AoE. So resummoning the Handmaiden's decoy pretty much every time is usually the smart choice. The only time I don't tend to do it is the very first move. So first special over here, we'll get that expose running. Unfortunately, it didn't go on anybody else. There's no point using the AoE here. I think I'm umming and ahhing about it. Okay, I did use it. See, it was a bit of a waste there. I guess I figured I would manage to get round to multiple turns with Padawan Obi-Wan before the next wave starts. AoEs once again. We got a stagger, which does absolutely nothing. It seems like they're immune to stagger TMR. First special from Obi-Wan will actually give him 100 speed as well. It's quite useful. There we go. So we're trying to build it up. You see we've got Qui-Gon's second special available. We want to try and save it until the last moment. One more turn. So next turn from Padawan Obi-Wan, he has got that special ability. He has his AoE available, so what do we use? The second special, the I Take That Bet. You roll that dice, you give yourself an additional 30% offense to your Padawan Obi-Wan. We're going to use the first special here. Look at all these exposes. Perfect scenario right now. Lots of buffs on Padawan Obi-Wan. He's got the 30% offense boost given to him from Master Qui-Gon Jinn, and there's a bunch of exposes on the board. Now, they did have, once again, the bonus turn modifier over here. So if this actually went to a droidica, or if it went to the commando and he dispelled all our buffs, that kind of puts an end to the run. However, we get lucky here, and it is luck, guys. We get our nice big AoE off, targeting the droidica. Everybody dies again. That is exactly what you're looking for. You need to get that done, especially in the later waves where there are lots and lots of enemies. Every time an enemy takes a turn, it's going to increase that enrage meter by 1%. At the end of each wave, it increases by 3%. So we need to be going into the next wave without hitting enrage, okay? That if we can clear this wave before we get to 100% enrage, you know you'll guarantee clear this wave out, get 100% max score, all right? Because the enrage trigger only sort of actually triggers when you're going in between waves, all right? So we just use a basic here, gain that offense up, and we are basically in the home straight here. We've got 22% or 20% left to enrage. I'm pretty confident that we will clear this out. At this point, you don't need to worry about prepping for the next wave. You can just use your specials a little bit more freely here because it's more important that we reach that last wave rather than try to save our AoE for a big clear. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 13%, so I used the AoE there. Boom, this is the final wave now, 3.1 million, and there's 9% left to enrage. Doesn't matter. If that enrage hits 100%, doesn't matter because we're never going to actually trigger it. I actually think when you get into this last wave, the enemy stops getting enrage meter. So if we take a look, when they take a turn, normally it's going up by 1%, but you can see it up here, it's not increasing at all. And that's great because it means you don't get that locked heal immunity, locked buff immunity, and all that jazz. You can just take this last wave as cool as you like. Obviously worry about the droidicas. You've got 2 dispels on the team, Qui-Gon Jinn's first special and Queen Amidala's first special as well, both dispel. So if you're ever stuck behind the droidica, that you know that's the abilities that you got to use. But once you reach the last wave, if you didn't hit Enrage, you are going to be absolutely fine because it's never going to trigger from here. So you can see the first special from Queen Amidala actually gets rid of the debuff, but it looks like I decided to just use basic there. I was obviously far too excited that I managed to get to the final wave here without hitting that Enrage. It's not easy, guys, but it can be done. So if you're really strapped on those Relic 9s, but you want to try and hit a max score run, it's absolutely great. Now, I guess the final question before we wrap this up is this worth it, ladies and gentlemen? Is it worth it to spend this level of investment to get a raid team? And I would say it depends. It depends, guys. It really does depend. One thing is, do I have my Leviathan? Do I have my Profundity? Those required level 9s. Do I have Ahsoka Tano Snips at Relic 9 ready for the new Commander Ahsoka Tano Galactic Legend? Well, she's not Commander Ahsoka Tano, but you know what I mean. If you don't have them, it's probably not in your best interest to start thinking about trying to push a 3.6 million team in the new raid. There's no reward box that's actually rewarding us for these Relic 9 runs. It just makes hitting the top box a little bit easier. All right? All in all, I can't really advise it unless you have that flexibility within your roster. Unless you have the resources available, don't bother trying to do this right now. Just stick to the tier 8 teams, the Relic 8 teams, the Relic 7 teams, and that sort of thing for the time being. Now, completely separate to that, those of you that are in late game, Padawan Obi-Wan and Master Qui-Gon Jinn as Relic 9s are incredibly valuable because of the Duel of the Fates Assault Battle, which does give Gerda keypads, does give droid brains, and gives a boatload of other relic mats, signal data, and all that sort of great business. Those two are 100% worthwhile, and the Queen Amidala team in general is very, very strong and worth investing in. So if you have got that sort of endgame roster, 100%, this is a very, very valuable team that can get you 3.6 million. Now, I'm hoping that CG is going to reintroduce that top-end box for the raid reward so that you can start earning a new and higher tier of raid rewards. It's very disappointing that they've taken that out in the meantime. Alright guys, let me know in the comment section down below, have you successfully managed to do this run? If so, let me know your thoughts. How was your modding? What was your turn order? And did you do it any differently to me? The great thing about this, of course, is as your roster develops as well, it'll just make that full run a little bit easier, having a 3rd, 4th, 5th character in the team, you know? Alright, smashing. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.